bomb is here. Myrwn does have the flash, but does he have any way to get out of this? I don't think so. First group comes out. The win becomes Lightning Crescent Guard invested as well, and Sheo pulled back with a handshake. They're just running into the meat grinder. Now it's all on Ice and Jenax, and Fresskowy's diving in. Ice on a rampage, Myrwn falls. Jenax diving back forward as Elyoya falls low. Ice begins to open up in the bailout. Won't save you today. It's a triple for Ice. Give Jenax one to boot, and BDS finally roar into life.
BDS are not going home yet. They want to prolong this series versus MDK. We didn't see a Pantheon yet, though, but perhaps. Who knows? Hello? That's us? Hi.
Oh, he's right there.
He is right there. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess he'll come in later. We'll invite him for some tea. Anyways, let's talk about BDS. I'm so happy that they finally decided to show up in this series because it would just be sad for many, many, many reasons, right? With the whole situation that they have in the top lane. And let's be clear, Jenax did more than enough in the previous game as well.
No, absolutely. But I also think this was just BDS that came to life. And even from members that I did not expect it from, Ice finally had agency in the Ezreal, but also Jenax as well on the Lee Sin became pivotal in terms of finding the Akali flanks later on and making sure they were set up for the team fights in the late game. It was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, this is such a big confidence win, especially, you know, Jenax had the rough 2 first games. I feel like now with Lee Sin, he kind of slots in on what Adam usually has with these unique champions. And he did such a good job this game. I think he peeled off Akali in so many fights and providing vision and setting up the Ezreal for success. So for me, this is, you know, a huge step forward for BDS. I feel like this is going to give them the confidence they need to level up.
Always, also in terms of, like we've said about MDK, that they will always assign someone to find those flanks or find those pickups to the enemy team. They now seem hyper aware. They have one way to deal with it, and I can assume once you have that muscle memory, you will now plant it into your next compositions as well. It almost felt like it was like, oh, we're up against match point, we're on red side. Okay, Jenax, just play the Lee Sin that we know you love to play, and let's see what happens. And it is one of those things when your back's against the wall, just, I don't know, Lee Sin kick your enemies into it.
I felt bad for him though, because it's like, okay, Lee Sin into Akali, this is going to be great, and then boom, you're playing against Karma top, Sjokz, mate.
But it wasn't about the laning phase.
Yeah, but at least, you know, it was a huge pick for the game because it was one of the picks that works well into both of those champions.
Yeah, it was. And Ice on Ezreal really stepped up in all those skirmishes that he needed, played it very, very well because it did get dicey. MDK was not out of this game, right? So it was necessary and he showed up when he needed to.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also think this was finally BDS dissecting Mad Lions in the late game because it had actually just been the trio between Fresskowy, Elyoya, and Alvaro keep finding picks. But this time around, though, it became Labrov and Sheo that started it, and then they started breaking them apart in the late game where you're just setting, as you mentioned earlier, Odo, Ice up for these perfect fights with the Lee Sin and with the Ezreal. And Ice, I mean, that's one of the best Ezreal performances we've seen this entire year.
Yeah, especially in this fight right here at Nashor. It's, you know, it was hard for Ezreal at first in the fight to do something, but now when MDK thinks that the fight is won and now they're the ones overextending into Ezreal, Ezreal is just ramping up and popping off so hard. And that's just what happens when you have everyone just running forward into Ezreal queues.
And it's so satisfying to watch. A good Ezreal is just always lovely. It's on the spectrum of where you see the best and you see the worst, and the worst, they just look useless, but Ice in this game,
it's beauty.
Absolutely fantastic. And even in situations like this where he does get blown apart, the rest of them are just so far ahead that it becomes difficult for Mad Lions or to play the extended late game fight.
Yeah, and that just speaks a testament to his positioning because it's so hard to catch a good Ezreal, and he positioned in a way where even though he was caught, it made the whole of MDK's crew just so overextended for everyone else on BDS to pick them apart.
I think this is just a perfect fight of Jenax. You know, you can see how much space.
How many are we gonna get? Yeah. I mean, we didn't have any BDS highlights for like 3 games or 2 games. So now
make up for it,
games worth it of highlights.
We need to see them all. And listen, I mean, it's been clear from the start, but red side's just so OP, right? Right?
I mean,
by the way, MDK is going to red side.
Red side is the new blue side for today.
So what
see how that switches up in just one game. But I think it's also calling out some of these flex picks and keeping them alive, like the Akali, like the Karma. It's something on red side where you can benefit more on it. So when you land on the 4th pick, you go into the final pick, it's harder for your enemy team to actually know what you're picking into. I think that can give a team like MDK some advantages from a draft avenue.
It can. Do you think they're startled though? Because they came into this game thinking, okay, they're playing now with their regular top laner. We're actually quite easily disposing of them. What we're doing is correct. Now it's back to the drawing board, and you kind of see that whole history of your split kind of fade a little bit, right, in that final?
Yeah, and now there's a huge pressure on BDS because now they're back to blue side, and it's like, it worked last game because we had this Lee Sin counter pick that was very, very good. But now we have to blind pick and we're inviting MDK again, or like MDK is inviting them to again get the good counter pick. So right now is going to be a huge moment in the series on how BDS is going to adapt to blue side and what sort of champions that they're going to find on this both mid and top lane that they can handle all of these flex picks that MDK is pulling out.
And what's your gut telling you?
Well, right now I think actually MDK will stabilize coming into it. I think they've
on
realized...
red side?
Yeah, I actually think they played a lot of their early skirmishes very poorly, and I think they had an idea that they were going to win out. Maybe a bit of cockiness coming into how they approach
I can see it.
some of these skirmishes in the early game, and they lost on the outplay potential. I think going into this one, they'll have a better idea of how they want to do it, and they're the one who's going to be having the upper hand when you do 3v3 with your mid jungle and support.
And it's just more chances for them to, you know, go back to the drawing board and get all of the champs that they, or like this sort of champions they had in game 1 and 2, because it worked so well for them. And you know, there's still like a lot of games left. Like even if this one goes ends up as an L for MDK, they can go red side again, because it does look like BDS is struggling on blue here, and for them, even though yesterday blue side was a huge win for MDK, for them, they are realizing that this is a huge win condition for them, is this sort of volatile flex picks that they've been pulling out for, you know, yesterday and today.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons that it comes down to that is the fact that in regular season with BDS, they had figured the meta out completely, and they even brought some of their own off-meta picks. But moving into the playoffs pass instead, we don't see them with the TF. We haven't seen the Karma too much. We don't see the Brand in the jungle. All these picks that has become power picks throughout the bracket stage so far. Blue side is OP because you get to pick one of these champions first, but now we even see it. Their blue side, they have to ban TF themselves, and suddenly you're hurting yourself in the draft race from the first ban phase.
But usually we see this also on red side, is as the deeper the run goes into playoffs and the more people figure out the meta, that's when red side becomes deadly. You know, there's always like phases, usually regular season and early playoffs, blue side is super strong. But once you go deeper into the run, red side becomes strong because the meta gets more figured out. And if you are a creative team as MDK is right now, with the amount of unconventional picks that they pick out, it does become a little bit more deadly for them.
Chances of an Aphelios first lock-in on blue side for BDS?
I would hate to see it again, but I would really not want to see the Aphelios lock. I mean, Lee Sin locked looked very great, but okay, let's be real. The Lee Sin first pick is going to be horrible, but I would like to see something else with more power than just the neutral Aphelios.
I forgot it, but we're doing the draft, so you can just talk about all those things now. Go!
I mean, I wouldn't want everyone to see my disappointment live when I see Aphelios first pick, so I'm really hoping it doesn't happen again. But it looks on track right now. TF ban, Ivan ban it is great.
I think one of the main adaptations that they would like in terms of first pick world champions could also just be the Azir for Nuke. It's one of his most comfort pick. I think that's why he looked the greatest in the game we just had, where he was able to cruise himself. He did well on side lane when he was unanswered, and it feels like it's one of the biggest comfort picks, even into the Akali that we saw Fresskowy try and counter it with. But no, it is just going to be Ezreal straight off ice, and you know, with good reason with the performance he just had.
Yeah, I like this a lot more, because at least, you know, if you are picking something neutral, you want something that scales and has so much agency in the late game, and Ezreal is one of those picks. I do like a lot Mad Lions Koi response of the Vi Karma. I think Vi is one of the better junglers in this game, and you need to lock down the Ezreal, because if you don't have hard lockdown for this Ezreal, come mid game 15-25 minutes plus, how are you gonna lock him down? He's gonna get so much more space than you can, and I think it's a great answer with the Vi and the Karma.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense for Sheo just to run back this Zhao. He looked great on it, even into the Vi. You saw how much Elyoya was struggling with actually finding a good engage, because he so often was just ulted out as soon as he ulted in himself. And to round out the composition, I mean, you could just look for one of the power picks
here, probably.
Yeah, it's the Azir, the Orianna, probably.
I wouldn't want to see support like they did in game 2, because I think support on 3 seemed to be a mistake. You're just inviting too many counter picks. But Azir, yeah, Azir is a great pick right here, because right now you are set for late game. You kind of have your core of 3 friends here with Ezreal, Azir, and Zhao. Your team comp has an identity right now, and all it counts now is how do you round it up? What support and top do you want to be, and what kind of direction do you want to go with your team composition now?
Yeah, exactly. I also think this keeps that flex pick alive, so they're probably just going to pick an AD on 4 and make sure that, you know, I mean, they could, realistically speaking, just pick into the Azir immediately, but then that would give them an easier time with the top side. So I think as BDS, you can just start taking away some of Supa's comfort champions. Are you looking for it? No, they're actually still looking for some top lane bans here. Looking for potentially blind. What are you looking to blind when you see an R ban like this?
Usually when I see an R blind like this, it's a Cassante blind pick, because I think what MDK will do is still pick ADC here to force Team BDS to pick a weak top laner, and then they can decide what sort of matchup they want there. But for me, you know, Gnar Gnar ban is usually an indicative of picking K'Sante, and you know, if Karma does go top into K'Sante, then at least it is a neutral matchup. Now I'm just wondering what are they gonna ban here, because I think Akali ban would still be good, because if Karma goes mid Akali top, I think the team comp identity for Mad Lions Koi is still one that is favorable to their playstyle that they had yesterday and today, and it worked out very, very well for them. So now, yeah, I'm wondering, is this K'Sante gonna be coming through for Team BDS? Because right now this pick from Mad Lions Koi on 4 doesn't really matter, I think. You know,
unless it's Draven, then it's just cool.
It is cool.
But
But
Rule of cool, yeah.
I like this. Aphelios Karma does provide, you know, a lot of agency going into mid-late game. You know, it scales similarly well to Azir and Ezreal. So now it's on Team BDS to see what they... Oh, this Gragas. I like Gragas a lot more as a neutralizer than K'Sante, because at least Gragas has a lot more lane power and it can handle a lot of these bully matchups. I'm not sure how it's going to go versus Karma, but you know, it can fight back at least from early game, because K'Sante, you're kind of sitting there and you're inviting people to bully you for a while.
Is there still a counter pick you could do, or no?
Unironically, K'Sante is a really good pick into Gragas, because you know, you're kind of matching front line, but you are maybe one of the only matchups that you're winning as K'Sante versus Gragas. So I feel like he's gonna go toe-to-toe into laning phase, and he's gonna outscale the Gragas, and he's gonna have a lot of power into this game though. But how will he do in this fight when there's an Ezreal and an Azir just ready to chunk him? I feel like he's just gonna provide frontline, and it looks really weird because you have... It feels like you're lacking backline damage as Mad Lions Koi here.
No, it absolutely does. I think it's really on them to find early skirmishes. If you have the priority through the Karma into the Azir, and then you free up Alvaro together with Elyoya, you have to find some sort of way to shut them down already from the early game to make sure that you can cruise into the mid game. Because I completely agree with Odo's points. Who are you actually getting in the backline if you're going in with even footing and you don't have an ace up your sleeve?
Okay, we'll see. Not an easy path for Mad Lions Koi if they want to break their path into the finals right here, right now. BDS going from strength to strength, and perhaps over to Silver Scrapes. Let's
see. 2 days in a row, Silver Scrapes would be a little bit of a banger.
Yeah.
The last time we did see a reverse sweep in the LEC was back in 2023. Mad Lions, no Koi at the time, against BDS in the finals of spring. Mad Lions who came out on top here. BDS have the wind in their sails, and Mad Lions have played 9 games across 24 hours, which is always going to be a little bit of a test for your, I mean, physically, initially,
or
right?
It's their natural environment.
I was about to say, the whole every solo queue on stage in front of a very loud crowd while your adrenaline is pumping. Like, adrenaline does eventually run out, guys. I'm just going to put it out there.
I don't know. How much would you know about it? You're not a doctor or anything.
It's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Plus, all you need is a few energy drinks and a snack.
Yeah, caffeine and adrenaline, exactly the same thing.
Isn't it all about the bananas? It's like the bananas gives you all the energy and the potassium you
When
need
I've
to
been
keep it
playing
going.
League
It's
for
like,
12 hours, Medic, all I think to myself is bathroom break, get back in it. Get me a nice beverage and a cheeky snack.
Yeah,
back into the grind.
That's not true for you anymore, though, right? Because it's the same for
no,
me,
I'm
right?
31.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that.
Just a little bit over the hill now. Can play 3 games and I get tilted.
But they're not. They're young.
That is true.
They're full of vigor and they're ready to play.
Alvaro and Supa setting up in the bush here. Ward was placed by Jenax on the red buff of Elyoya, so he'll be spotted if he starts there. He put a counter ward on his ramp in towards his Razor Beaks, and Jenax and Myrwn just exchanging thumbs up in the top lane. The Gragas into the K'Sante. Jenax did play a lot of Gragas when he was in the LEC, if I recall correctly, a couple of years ago. So be comfortable on the jump, and you can always just do that. So kind of a neutralizer in this top lane.
yeah, I think he'll work well as well to just keep Supa out of these fights, because basically his whole job coming into this is like, if I can blast this AD carry to the fights, he doesn't do damage, fantastic. We can get nuked to deal a ton of damage as they go for that big engagement. On the bot side,
Ignite down on Supa. Ice ignited as well. Alvaro trading back in. Both the AD carries down to about half HP. The health trade in the end does come out on the side of BDS because Labrov is still pretty healthy himself.
also having the heals though for Ice, like you've the double combat spells, so the trade definitely going in favor of BDS, and you can kind of see MDK having to respect that as Supa and Alvaro will back it up. Curious if this impacts what Sheo would like to do here. You can see, at least at the moment, Fresskowy thinking the same thing, just wanting to get a ward down. You saw this in the last game as well, just try and spot out what Sheo is going to be up to. May look for some sort of bot invade, especially as this third wave is about to crash here now for BDS.
It's definitely a possibility. Jenax, I had a look over his LFL record. He's played Gragas twice, won both games, and hasn't died. Tends to play the full AP Gragas as well, which is what we see much more commonly these days than that sort of off-tank. Sheo will look for this invade, with Ice and Labrov pushing forward. And Alvaro realizing it's a possibility. Elyoya doing the same. You can see him stepping back towards this. Ward over the wall. Elyoya didn't spot that, or at least there were no pings on it. Will Sheo just look for the steal? Could look
Has to believe that something... Right, I guess because the Rakan isn't moving.
There we are. Jumps in. Elyoya goes forward. Elyoya, I believe, landed that smite. Sheo will chase him away, but doesn't get the 3 talent strike knockup.
It leaves the blue buff open, and you look at mid as well. Nuke has the push, and now Labrov makes his way over. There should be an uncontested blue buff in favor of Sheo. Going to be denied away from Elyoya. Is there a window for Elyoya to look for a fight here?
Alvaro stepping forward here, knocked up, locked up, looking for the final order for the 3 talons. They get the knock up again. One more auto, enough! And first blood, but a double root coming out from Supa. There's the heal that we talked about earlier. Elyoya falling low, down to 100 HP. Supa stepping back forward. Sheo dashing back in, flashed away by the MDK. AD carry, and he'll escape it for Fresskowy. Flash, Mantra, in a flame. Oh, doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to do it.
Did he? I really think he should have done it.
Yeah.
I can only assume he didn't have his mantra up, but very close exchange. If they would have been able to get those kills onto Supa, very unfortunate for him. Regardless, advantage gain for BDS. 800 is the gold lead, and the fact that Ice is off to another great start sets BD up very nicely for a repeat performance of what we saw in Game 3.
Alvaro hovering mid here, has the Hex Flash, nuke very low, but wave is there. Oh my god, that hits!
Hook lands, a lollipopping at the end of it. Rob went full Irish there. Oh my Jesus! Oh my God!
Jesus, lads, you look at that one!
Great crack for Nuke in the mid lane as he has to deal with a little bit of a party. Fresskowy being forced away, Nuke very low on mana. Hit with that Mantra in a flame. Sheo now working his way up towards the top side. No summoners for the MDK AD carry. Flash away by Nuke. Alvaro using that Hex Flash to great effect.
Nice reactions there from Nuke. I can tell you right now, I definitely was getting hit by that hook. But even if he did, I debate if Fresskowy would have actually had enough damage to get the kill. But Nuke says, you know what, I'm not even going to take that gamble. So a lot of action already happening in this early game. Love to see it. Still relatively low in kills, though. The first dragon is, of course, available. We look as well at the grubs. And Elyoya naturally finds himself partaking in a duel, but Sheo this time is here to answer. He has no mid prio or top prio.
And I think he was he's not here to answer. That phone is ringing for days. Right? He's like, no. Send me a text if you want me to deal with this.
Yeah, yeah, because I was about to go into, like, if he contests that, this is the classic, where's my team?
I was going to say Phone Booth is a very different movie if Sheo did it.
Oh!
Yeah, good route by Supa.
That was... fair enough. Did not know you could do that.
You have to land it, the roots, before the Rakan hits where he's going to W up from, because as soon as he's there, then the knockup will go through. Hex Flash dashed away with the Arcane Shift. And, that's
and you have to E right before the hook lands so that you can move to a different position. So
buffering! Like a YouTube stream in the 90s. We're talking about buffering, guys.
You know, isn't it crazy to think there are people watching this show right now that don't know the iconic dial-up sound of connecting to the internet?
I think you should make it.
No, Medic, I think I will pass.
Vocalist, right?
You guys can Google that at home if you don't know what I'm talking about. Really shows my age.
Put your volume up to max. It's great. Oh, Elyoya dashes in with a Volt breakup. BDS were waiting for him again. This invade on the Gromp on the blue buff. Hook goes down. Ice secures it with an auto. Smite was used by Elyoya, which gives Sheo free reign to open up on this blue.
Consistently, though, Sheo was trying to go for these and losing out. Yes, Ice got it, but he's not getting that XP, right? So you can see he's starting to slip behind. Has only just ticked over to 5, whereas Elyoya will be able to pick up 2 camps and very quickly at 6. So I think Sheo definitely wants to try and make this a little bit more of a successful invade, because it's honestly just kind of sticking him more behind than it is Elyoya at the moment.
Elyoya securing those grubs does give him a slight experience advantage as well. We kind of look at the state of the map. Push in mid in favor of Fresskowy. We'll be able to move down into this river. The dragon becomes the next point of contention. Sheo engages.
Sheo going forward onto Fresskowy. Elyoya dashes in. Nuke still has the Emperor's Divide down towards the bottom side. Ice trading in. Alvaro falling low. He falls first. Red-white for Supa though. Dodges the True Shot Barrage by stepping past it. And he should be able to get a counter kill, but he can't in time. It's Ice baby in the bot lane as BDS find a double.
I'm not gonna lie, I think Ice is the only person I ever want to see pilot Ezreal in this league. This man has been absolutely incredible on it. 3 kills, Labrov. We need the help of Sheo if he wants to try and back away from this one, but 3-0 for the BDS AD carry. The new guy on the roster stepping up massively for BDS in this series.
I mean, Ezreal is becoming a threat in Europe. What era are we in?
A new one, Benny. A new one.
Noah showcasing his skills on the champion, and now Ice looking to do the same thing. 3-0-0 on the Ezreal is only going to accelerate this scaling champion. Supa was very close to getting a kill back, and it could have made the difference, but the arrival of Sheo is what changed it. So it starts off with a 2v2 on 2 different fronts. On the bot side of the map, the heal coming in clutch there before the Ignite ends up being dropped means that they're able to get that initial kill to Alvaro. The guns are good for Supa. A slight level differential means that Ice gets some health back, but then look at that knock-up from Sheo. Provides enough time for Ice to actually secure the kill for himself. And to make matters worse for MDK, they can't even kill Nuke off the back of it. He throws down the ultimate and keeps himself alive. So that's a 1k gold lead sitting on the AD carry of BDS right now. And as we mentioned earlier, they're looking to make the reverse sweep happen. We look back to spring of last year. It was BDS who was 2-0 up against Mad Lions. They ended up getting reverse swept. Mad Lions Koi potentially on the receiving end. And, you know, we joked about it earlier, Minik, but you have to question the mental fatigue. It has been a lot of games played on stage. Mad Lions are 1 game away. And with a lead like this, they have to keep calm, keep composed, do what they can to stay relevant in this game.
And seemingly, at least, a very emotionally driven team. The crowd's chants, Ebi leading them from the front as well with how passionate he is about the game. The MDK players themselves joining in some of the banter and some of the joy. Can be very hard when you start losing. Jenax flashing early here. Doesn't body slam away, season's assist coming in. Flash hook from Alvaro as well as Jenax gets the knockback, but Alvaro tanking it means that MDK will get away.
A little bit hurt from that one, but good job by Alvaro to move in to tank that turret up, because that could have been a very different story. Sheo is going to get this bottom side, but honestly, Void Grubs again for Mad Lions Koi. It's not like we haven't seen this trade already this series, but nicely done by Mad Lions Koi to get something back here for the top side of the map.
Yeah, I like the swap overall. It gives an opportunity to funnel plates, particularly because you're looking to get yourself
Supa's kind of low.
6 grubs.
Supa's kind of low!
He actually flashes that.
I don't know if that does 500 damage right now.
Don't the minions also reduce this for
they
each
used
target?
to reduce, they got rid of that a while ago.
Okay.
So yeah, one of those old things you know because you've been casting for a while that gets changed, and then you forget about it.
There was
like
a
after
really
year.
bad one. I played Kassadin the other day, and in my head, Force Pulse still it does not. You can just cast Force Pulse whenever you want now. I was like, oh my, wow. But all right, fair enough. So he flashes out of respect, does cost the summon a spell as a result. I believe he got 2 plates off the back of that, but that 1k gold difference between the AD carries, not moved a dent.
Yeah, because there's 2 plates gone on the bottom side as well for Ice, right? So you're kind of just responding tip for tat. But I do think getting that gold onto Supa is going to accelerate him to a point where, okay, he can kind of get online a little bit faster. So for BDS, it's a case of, okay, we're going to hit these 2 items on Ezreal very quickly, which is when he becomes the strongest. How can we try and play around Ice in this regard to start to set ourselves up for success? And Dragons, definitely the way forward in that regard, and at least they've started that campaign, but you're still, you know, 15 minutes away before it actually becomes a real threat for Mad Lions Koi, so you're not really under too much here for MDK to worry about.
Importantly as well for MDK, it was a while before that first dragon was taken, still 3.5 minutes before that will come back up, so they can wait out that. Don't have to play around soul stacking too quickly. Jenax answering Supa and Alvaro in the top lane here. You can see Nuke actually answering Myrwn down towards that bottom side. Alvaro's back will be stopped. Looks like Ice is going to be left to his own devices in that mid lane.
I don't know if they spotted out the Supas on this top side. You'd assume so with Alvaro up here, but I wasn't sure if they wanted to try and as BDS very quickly push in this mid lane, use the fact that Ice had that pressure in there and the Essence Reaver completed, but it looks like they might even 4-man stack up onto this top side because they saw Alvaro reset. And now Supa's very alone. Labrov.
No flash, remember, knocked back. Jenax looking for the bomber, can't quite find it. Severum with the Moonlight Vigil, heals him up. The root coming down as well. Supa knows he doesn't win this, and then he oversteps, looking for it. True shot barrage. Come hail or high water, Ice is gonna find the kill.
A really nice punish once again from BDS, funneling more gold into their AD carry. Nuke is going to be fine playing on the weak side. A hook's going to connect from Alvaro, but I don't think Sheo is going to be too concerned about that. He's got information as to where his opposition is. He's going to be fine and dandy. BDS continuing to accelerate what they can here in the early game. Crucially, sure, the gold gap overall doesn't look that different. The mid and the top side going in favor of MDK makes the overall gold look very even, but the fact that Ice is as fed as he is has to be a terrifying prospect for MDK, because something that the desk was talking about, and I very much agree with, who is the threat on this Ezreal? And is it enough? You know, even if the Vi gets on top, is there really going to be enough of a damage threat to really shut Ice down as this game continues? I'm worried about how much potential dive they really have when you have the peel from a Gragas, the peel from the Zhao and the Azir, and even the Rakan. Like, it's going to be a very similar story to what we saw in the previous game.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's why for MDK, it's like, hey, look, they just use double TPs on BDS to rotate Azir, top, Jenax, bot to save the bot tower. Right, let's just try and forego next Dragon, ignore this Ezreal, and see if we can play for numbers advantage on towards the top side, see if we can get this top lane turret, see if we can find something in this game. Because if this starts to continue, it just feels like every fight you go into, Ice is going to be an absolute menace. And his Qs have been on point all game, well, this game and last game as well.
Been very difficult to deal with, definitely not chill for MDK. Ice now 4-0, has that Essence Reaver complete, has a 450 gold bounty on his head as the Rift Herald, maybe the next point of contest between these two teams. With a Drake up in a minute though, BDS might just look to keep MDK from starting up too easily. Myrwn is proxying bot, which isn't too much of a risk when you're playing K'Sante, because you can just all out your way across terrain if someone does come to try and fight you.
It's very weird for me that BDS aren't really doing anything on the map, though. You can see Sheo's on this bottom side. Madline's Koi are even kind of confused, going, wait, where's the Zhao? Why is he not contesting us on the Rift Herald? Because you are in a position where you could try and look for this. You have Ezra just farming up in mid, but they don't really feel comfortable going for it right now. I'm kind of surprised that, like, even with Sheo on bot side, he could have ganked Myrwn and tried to play off of Jenax, but they don't do that. And then they don't really do anything at Rift Herald either, and Madeline's Koi just get it for free.
It's not even like they set up vision towards the bot side of the map, right? They're not even setting up Dragon Vision so that they can make sure they get the second one. Sheo will go through his topside jungle. Nuke backs away, respects after game one, where we saw him getting caught out so many times in a side lane. It is better for BDS fans to see that Nuke is respectful of the fact that MDK can close in. But as you say, BDS struggling a little bit right now to keep the pace of the game on their terms. I wonder if they're just waiting for second item for Ice. He's sitting on that core fields, has the tier as well in his inventory.
I would agree, except Supa doesn't have an item. So it could work out there. Just, you know, the same kind of math in a couple of minutes time. Like, Ice, I think, should have enough gold if he resets to try and see that, or try and pick up his next item, but I think this is weird that you're letting this much control over the Madeline's Koi.
Labrov's gonna get hooked as well. MDK just step in. Labrov almost falls will to Fresskowy. Myrwn coming in from the side as well. Sheo trying to flash away. The hook connects the Crescent Guard down. A lot invested here by BDS just to retreat, and MDK might get the cherry on top of this pie. A dragon waiting for them.
Myrwn was considering throwing out that ultimate. Can't quite find a good angle, so the mid jungle of BDS stay alive. Supa continues to pressure in the mid lane. Ice doesn't quite have the wave clear to hold him off. Alvaro, will he commit the Hex Flash? No, he's just hit mainly his moral support as the tower will end up falling and the dragon to boot. So MDK,
huge swing.
Yeah, really big swing. Getting their kills on the board. Getting a lot of gold invested back towards some of their carries. Still though, that gold gap between the AD carries only continues to extend. Right now, it's not a huge deal, but as the game continues, Ezreal is only going to get scarier and scarier. I
will say, like, this is where Ezreal is strongest, though. Like, at this stage, it's kind of like, hang on, we're letting Supa go towards his Storm Razors. He's going to work towards his Infinity Edge. It's like, when are you actually going to fight against Madeline's Koi? Because, like, Nuke having Nashers and literally no item on towards Supa, that was kind of your moment as BDS to go, yeah, we can just take this game and completely throw it in our favor. But now you're still like, okay, well, it's Ocean Soul. Not the end of the world, realistically, if we end up giving that over as Mad Lions Koi. But I'm going to hold on to this because they're grouping up on this top side to look for Jenax.
I think Sheo has escaped suspicion, hiding in this bush. Now, Labrov will show on this ward. They know it's there. Control ward goes down from Labrov. Sheo now steps forward. Jenax under the tower. 5v3 begins to erupt. The quickness coming out. Jenax able to survive. A good charm out from Labrov as well as they're locked down for. The Emperor's Divide comes out. And MDK have just gifted BDS a kill under the tower. That's 2. They're looking for 3 as Myrwn cannot escape. A beautiful reaction play from BDS as MDK look for the kills.
I mean, you summarized it perfectly, Medic. The response from BDS is flawless. They shut down the aggression from MDK, and they only lose a single member. The Azir only gets stronger now, the mid-gold swinging heavily in his favor. A fantastic Emperor's Divide shutting down this MDK engage.
Yeah, the knockback there was absolutely beautiful. The fact that you end up getting that charm and knock up as well means that Jenax is able to get out. They turn it to Alvaro. And Nuke is doing so much work on this Azir, and this is without ice.
Yeah,
just the tower and the rest of BDS being able to set up perfectly for that fight. Now this Azir has gotten a ton of gold, nearly up towards that Rabbit on death cap. Every backline member of BDS is going to be a massive threat, and as Vedi said earlier on, there's not a huge amount of follow-up if Elyoya goes onto them.
Huge credit to Sheo as well, waiting it out in that bush, waited for the control ward to be down so that the vision wasn't there for MDK, then stepped forward. It became a 3v5 very quickly, and then a 4v5 with the TP, and eventually a 5v, a couple of MDK players left over as Ice did join the frame. Mid lane tower falls. BDS take their 3rd of the game and extend their lead to 2,000. It was back to an MDK favored gold difference actually before that fight began in the top lane. Baron up in 38 seconds time. Fresskowy is going to answer with a tower of his own in the top lane, building up towards that horizon focus. BDS still feels like they're playing on their side of the map more than MDK's side of the map. MDK, Elyoya, Myrwn, and Alvaro often teaming up to step into the BDS jungle, and it feels like that initial CC burst and the threat of just 100 to 0ing someone from MDK is definitely there. With cease and desist, Supa to follow up, Alvaro there as well for the extra CC. And BDS very much respecting the fact that if they are caught out in their jungle, they can just be one-shot.
I still think going forward, though, I want to see a little bit more proactivity from BDS.
Oh, definitely.
Because as you say, like, these kill squads for Mad Lions Koi will eventually start to work out where they will get picks and our BDS aren't in position to respond. And I just feel like with the Dragons in the way that they are, the only real way for BDS to try and force fights where they're able to play around Ezreal is kind of a now. Maybe you try and risk a Baron and try and push that, or you are just hyper waiting for a nuke. But yes, nuke is slightly accelerated, but I still think you're going to have a lot of tools coming online from Mad Lions Koi later.
I spotted with the cease and desist, tries to get under the tower, TP in, all out, knocks him back to Pathmaker as well. There's the hook, and the Death Squad pays dividends. MDK find a kill, they look for more as Sheo's now caught out. Myrwn looking for the knockback, but the Crescent Guard will keep him safe for now. Labrov gets the knock up, Pulse of Quickness goes up towards the top side. The knockback with the explosive cask. Sheo falling low, but not falling to his grave. How will Labrov escape from this? I believe he won't.
The Baron is up. Like, there's a very big window here for MDK to just force this. I'm surprised that they're chasing for Labrov when they could just get this massive neutral objective. I guess they're just going to be happy with the kills. A massive pick onto Ice. They get his heal. They don't quite get his flash. But I do feel that that was a bit of a missed opportunity. I guess they weren't confident trying to force the Baron when Nuke is still alive. They're concerned about the potential of this Azir at this point in the game.
So it's just, they don't have a huge amount of damage. That's kind of alluded to it already.
Behind.
With Supa being behind, he kind of isn't in that position, but as you say, TP, Nuke.
Myrwn has no all out and no ghost. How can Nuke navigate this? Well, he starts to dash away, still has the Emperor's Divide, cease and desist available for Elyoya, but Flash almost back up. Myrwn goes forward within Tofu, there's the Bolt Breaker. Nuke uses the Emperor's Divide to try and get away, tries to dodge the Dredge Line, but he's pulled into the depths. MDK find another shutdown.
Dippy in towards the mid lane though. Mad Lions Koi want to make sure they don't lose out on this tower, but I'm very excited to see what the new theme song for this kill squad is going to be from Mad Lions Koi after this, because at this stage they deserve their own TV show for how well they're just picking apart BDS.
It's the Elyoya and Friends squad finding them out. BDS playing around this top side. Elyoya Nothing down towards the river here. Can look for that Scuttle Crab. Nuke up in 18 seconds, has the TP. Myrwn pushing in that bot lane. Dragon is up, but neither team really sees the need to focus it. BDS may just lie in wait. Can they do what MDK have done to them so many times this game? Nuke stealing away the Grump. BDS slowly pushing round. Nuke still has that TP. BDS are taking their time about it. They do have the option of actually jumping into the back of the pit if there's no control ward in there. They could try and sneak it under MDK's noses.
Mad Lions have no idea where...
Yeah, but BDS have no idea where Mad Lions are.
Yeah, but there were danger pings coming out into their jungle, and now MDK is like, well, if they're behind us, then let's just push. Nuke is gonna die.
Caught out, locked up, CC'd, and he's dead again.
Dead squad, dead squad.
I really do think that MDK in a straight-up 5v5 should be losing these fights, and so they've said, okay, we'll just keep killing you in isolation.
It's game one all over again.
It really is, and now they've decided to force the Baron. Let's see if Ice can carry this fight as he did so well in the previous game.
The Myrwn has the all-out. Supa doesn't have good guns. 10,000 HP on the Baron. The True Shot Barrage takes Supa down to half. Shielded up a little bit now, has good guns. Crescendum Severum, Baron down to 9,000 still. Myrwn trying to tank up that front line, and Tofu's dodge to the side of Ice dashing forward. They're looking for the damage on the Cassandra. The hook's going to land from Jenax. Jenax falling low, down to half. Ice trying to put the damage down, but Supa gets the kill on Gragas, and MDK look for more. Supa has the shurikens, but BDS have the disengage. Sheo pulled out with the all-out. Ice still trying to get the damage onto Supa. Nuke's back up. The Crescent Guard coming out, the quickness as well from Labrov. He tries to get onto Supa, he manages, but there's no follow-up. Nuke with an Emperor's Divide that went all the way to Narnia, and Supa dashes in. He flashes forward, and you can see the hula hoops around him, spelling the demise of BDS.
But there's nothing that Ice can do. They end up completely falling apart there now. Mad Lions, Koi, they're the ones again can just turn back towards the Baron.
And there's going to be a Drake for Baron exchange, Vedi.
They have the numbers advantage, yeah. The problem for BDS is it's not going to result in much. Ice actually backing off from that one. They want to try and contest that Baron.
Jenax is now going to TP in. He has Explosive Cask. Myrwn is down to about half HP. Jenax going to be spotted on a wall. Fresskowy low on mana. Supa the same. Elyoya dashing forward has the cease and desist. Ice has to get away from the back of this. The True Shot Barrage just wide as Sheo falls. And BDS, it's not a straight path. You don't just have to walk into your death one by one. It's not a queuing system.
But they stop the Baron. They ultimately buy themselves more time. The Dragon won't fall either, but they deny the neutral form ultimately going down. We see a lot of time being bought here from Mad Lions Koi. They know they have the numbers advantage. They're just waiting for that single target or that CC to land. They connect it onto Jenax. They peel off the Baron. They don't take the 50-50, and instead they chase down for kills.
The fact that Supa is able to heal up off the Baron as well is massive, because it means the Mad Lions Koi can just chase forward. Alvaro just wide on that, trying to lollipop in behind the minions once again, but Myrwn's already able to close the distance onto where Sheo and Ice. When you're on the back foot like this and there's so many dashes, so much movement, it's hard to keep landing all these Qs. And Nuke doesn't get Elyoya with the knockback, and at that stage you don't even have to disengage. And Mad Lions Koi just chased them down, and now if you look at the picture-in-picture, we're back at it one more time. Alvaro stepping forward.
One more step into the breach as Sheo goes forward. Alvaro locked up. True Shot Barrage goes wide. The quickness onto the backline, and now perhaps Jenax can get in there as well. And they've caught out Supa. The shutdown to Ice. Elyoya falls second, and BDS have finally found the team fight that they were looking for. MDK scattered to the hills. Can they escape? Can they delay enough for the Baron not to be an option for BDS, because they've begun it? Myrwn dashed in, Jenax and Ice alongside Labrov just trying to kill off this Cassandra. Alvaro the first target in their sights. BDS can't do the Baron though because they don't have their tank to help them out. Fresskowy standing across the wall. Mantrid in a flame, he didn't flash through it earlier, but Mantrid in a flame here might be huge. Doesn't land on anyone. Dodged to the side by BDS. Jenax re-engages onto the Baron. Recall out from Myrwn, has the TP but won't be there in time. BDS finally secure the Baron as Ice secures the shutdown, and what a merry-go-round we are riding on today.
It just barely works out for BDS, because watch Labrov in this fight. Labrov goes in right as Supa goes in with the Moonlight Vigil. That Infernum could have changed that fight, but Labrov tanks it. Jenax gets the barrel onto Supa, and with Ice in a brilliant position here, is able to free fire onto so many high-value targets. It makes it impossible for Mad Lions Koi to bring back this fight.
The disruption available in BDS's composition just make it so difficult for MDK to play these fights. They did a good job of splitting apart BDS earlier in the game, But now that Ice has a team to play around, you can see that he is unleashed. The damage is relentless. He's going to pick up another kill. Off 2 kills alone, he made 1,300 gold. You're going to see him get another 500 here.
That's 500 bounty plus the 300 for the Baron.
And he got 800 earlier. Like, it was... He is incredibly fed.
3.5 items complete now. The Drake that begun it all so long ago will finally be taken by BDS. MDK backs on the ropes, but they were in this position not 10 minutes ago when they fought back to find a gold lead in the game. A lot of it rests, you have to feel, on Supa's shoulders. David Martinez Garcia with a lot of weight to carry this game for MDK if they are going to make it through to the finals.
But the thing is, BDS, they're pushing in the mid lane. Yes, you get the tier 2 in top in trade for Dragon, which honestly I think is worth for Madlan's Koi, but Supa can't defend by himself. The guns are not good for clearing waves, especially against the Baron, so BDS are going to be able to get all outer turrets down. But with Jenax on the top side, are MDK looking?
Elyoya is. Steps forward, dashes back, power of the Vault Break, you can just use it to be a little bit tentative with whether or not you go for the engage. BDS now backing away through this blue side jungle. Jenax pushing in the top lane. MDK catches the waves, only 2k behind, but a lot of that lead sitting on Myrwn, who has had a good game on the Cassante. Koenig, Rukan, Sunfire, Iceborne, and the Frozen Heart complete for him. More items than his AD carry. But again, MDK, these bushes, they're allies. It's like they're always playing Ivan. They don't go for the hook. They wait for a more opportune target, a more prime cut of meat. Is it Labrov? He's going to step. He's going to get hooked. He's going to get locked up. And the Rakan is boiled in the jungle. Devoured by MDK. The gold going to Alvaro. But once again, it's BDS with a man disadvantage for the next 35 seconds.
And they can't push out on the map. You can see Fresskowy moving to push out that top wave. There's nothing ready for them to try and respond with. Nuke is trying to push in on bot side, but that's the end of the Baron power play. There's nothing that realistically BDS have to write home about. Dragons, not really a big option for them. They only got their second dragon nearly 30 minutes into the game. It feels like Baron in 3 minutes is really going to be what we're trying to play around. And if MDK just keep making these picks, they're good.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay, Benny.
I feel
it's
like
right.
I get the impression that mainly because of these dragons, like with Elder not being on the cards, the problem that both teams run into is just the wave clear on both sides.
Yep.
Mantra Q is really effective, and BDS are also quite hesitant to play 1-4. They tend to overstack, making it easier for MDK to wave clear. So even if they do get the Baron, they're going to need to find a pick, but then what happens is it feels like that it's just rinse and repeat. BDS use their prior, they move out onto the map, they push, they take an objective, they then base. Somebody on BDS overstays, MDK then uses that window to move into the enemy jungle, they find a pick. BDS then with the numbers disadvantage feel that they can't put any pressure on the map. And then ultimately it ends up in this stalemate where towers gradually end up falling, another tower falls, and what happens to the gold? It remains dead even. So we're basically waiting for these neutrals to respawn before we see these teams go toe-to-toe once more.
The gold doesn't remain even in the AD carry role, though. You can see 5 items for Ice, looking towards his last item coming through, but the longer this game goes and slows and progresses, Supa is just going to get stronger and stronger. Working towards that BT now as well, he's going to be in a fantastic spot. Like, he's catching up despite the gold difference because, well, Ice is just running out of slots. So.
But I don't know if it matters, like, because I think that it was something that the desk said earlier where, like, when we think about these comps, right, who gets to free hit, right? And I just think that when both these teams are kind of looking at each other, it's so much easier for BDS to just dish out that free damage. Whereas for Supa, he's very reliant on the opposition coming to a range where he can actually hit them. And I think that BDS don't ever need to go within that range.
I think Fresskowy can help with that, though.
Sheo gets caught with the dredge line, puts the Crescent Guard down. Elyoya looking for that flank position. Alvaro down to half HP. Myrwn pushing forward. A great cast, though. Knocks Alvaro back into the meat grinder. Sheo trading with Myrwn down towards the bottom side. Fresskowy down as well. As now Elyoya joins the fray, but a little bit too late today, you feel. Cease and desist of BDS. Don't listen to your demands. Elyoya will fall to nuke Jenax and Labrov. Myrwn fell as well, and it's only Supa left alive to defend.
Labrov with another fantastic re-engage after tearing apart Alvaro. the carries of BDS are just left completely untouched. This Ezreal Azir combo is doing work for BDS, and I stand corrected. They don't care about the Baron or the Dragon.
Oh my god!
They're looking to try and end the game. Supa, though, can he make the miracle happen?
Couldn't clear the minion wave. Alvaro on his way out again! Jenax with the bomber to take us into game 5!
And just like that, this series is blown wide open. For Mad Koi, what looked definitive is now in disaster struck. You are looking at an opportunity for BDS to right the wrongs from spring last year and find that reverse sweep.
And to get revenge perhaps against G2 tomorrow after losing to them 0-3 earlier on in playoffs. We got one more game in us, but before it, let's hear those silver scrapes.